Today we're checking out the new Xiaomi Pad 7, finally the global version. So let's get right into the unboxing. Pricing for this is right around $350. Of course, depending on where you live, I had to pay a little bit more to have this imported, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. 3 different color options: gray, purple, and green. The base model starts with 8 GB of RAM now instead of 6, with 128 GB of storage. There's also a 12 GB of RAM version with 256 GB of storage. Unfortunately, there's no SD card slot with this one. You can also get their official keyboard and focus pin that works on here at an extra cost. It does come with a 45-watt charging brick and USB-C to USB-A charging cable. Of course, the quick start guide. You can see a slightly different design this time for the cameras on the back, and you can see where the pin attaches there on the side. Power button there on the top, along with your 2 speakers on each side, charging port there on the bottom. Pretty nice design, just slightly different than the Pad 6. Here's a quick size comparison between the Xiaomi Pad 7 and the 6. It's actually a little shorter than the 6, but it's a little bit wider to get that 3:2 aspect ratio. The 7's a hair thinner than the 6 as well, even though the 7 weighs a little more. As far as software goes, it comes with Android 15, HyperOS 2, it's got Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.4. Of course, when you're setting up, you've got face unlock or screen lock with pattern, pin, or password. You can also use Gemini on here as the AI assistant as well. Looks like it's using gestures by default, but of course you can go into the settings and change that to 3-button navigation if you want. I gotta say, a pretty cool looking wallpaper in my opinion. Definitely better than what's on the box. Looks like there's a system update. Might as well go ahead and do that. Once you do the update, you can see it changes the wallpaper. I just don't think that looks as good. I also like how they have the wallpaper effects where you can blur it or have different glass effects as well. It also has a lot of cool ways to customize the lock screen. Looks like it's using about 28 GB of the 128 available. You also have the option to change it from 60 Hz to 90 or 144 Hz refresh rate. Just keep in mind, the higher you go, the lower the battery life. There's not really a lot of apps pre-installed on here. I already started to download some of the ones I usually use to test on here. There's really just a few apps from Google and then a handful from Xiaomi. Of course, you can uninstall most of those if you want. I feel like it's actually pretty similar to the previous software on the Xiaomi Pad 6. As far as the display goes, you get a slightly larger 11.2-inch IPS display with 2136 by 3200 resolution at 3:2 aspect ratio, up to 144 Hz refresh rate, and it's a little brighter now at 600 nits brightness with up to 800 nits peak brightness. It's also a nano texture display to help reduce reflections. It weighs in at 500 grams, so about 10 grams heavier than the Pad 6. Nice thing is this is wide vinyl L1, which is good for streaming apps like Netflix. You can also watch upscaled 4K resolution for YouTube videos as well. You'll notice it puts all the apps on the home screen, but you can change it with the app drawer there in the home screen settings. Up in the control center, you've got a lot of different stuff that you can add, like floating windows, wireless display, Dolby Atmos, auto brightness, bedtime mode, and so on. You also have workstation on here, which is kind of like the new Samsung DeX, where it's using floating windows. You've got 3 little dots in each window to resize, or of course you can drag the corners as well. Over to the side, you've got recent apps and the home button as well. I thought you would get at least 3 years of major updates on this, but I've seen some places say only 2 years of major software updates with 3 years of security updates, which seems a little low if that's true. Performance wise, you get a Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 processor, and then of course 8 or 12 GB of RAM, depending on which storage option you go with. I thought the performance on the Xiaomi Pad 6 was pretty good. If you compare the single and multi-core scores on this, it's actually a nice upgrade over the Xiaomi Pad 6, but when you compare GPU scores, it's actually way better on the Xiaomi Pad 7, almost 3 times as much of the Xiaomi Pad 6. So it's going to have plenty of power to do pretty much anything you need to. And of course, you can play games like PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite, and probably most other games in the Play Store without too much effort. I didn't notice any overheating or glitches during my testing, which is always good to see. So overall, really nice performance on this when compared to the Xiaomi Pad 6. It's got an 8,850 milliamp hour battery, and now with 45 watt fast charging instead of only 33. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted about 6 hours, and it takes just over 1 hour to charge back up. Keep in mind, that's a more extreme use scenario, so it should last a couple days with mixed usage, even longer once you turn the screen brightness down. Which I know for me, I rarely use my tablets or phones at full brightness for long periods of time. Nice thing is you get 4 speakers with Dolby Atmos. It also has 4 microphones. I feel like the speakers on here sound pretty good. I'd have to compare it a little bit closer to the Pad 6. It has pretty good sound quality though. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like.
As you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
When it comes to the cameras, you've got a 13 megapixel camera on the back, 8 megapixel ultra wide. They're on the long edge on the front. In the camera app, you've got document, video, photo, portrait. Under more, you have dual video, AI watermark, and director mode. You can shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second for video recording on the back, 1080p on the front. Actually has really fast shutter speed for a tablet. Looks like pretty good quality in my studio lighting. But here's a few quick samples of photo and video just to give you an idea of what to expect from the Xiaomi Pad 7. Typically with cameras on tablets, they're usually not that great, but you actually get pretty good quality on this compared to most other tablets that I've tested. It might struggle a little bit here and there during video, actually much better than I was expecting. Overall, I feel like this is a nice upgrade over the Xiaomi Pad 6, especially in performance. I'll definitely be comparing this to the Xiaomi Pad 6 a little closer here soon. So if you like tablets, phones, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos.
So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from FishBee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.